when I opened them up, they clearly didn't get cut quite right. So that's kind of interesting. I look awful. I'm exhausted. This day wins. I got nothing left.
At no point was this lagging. Quite frequently, I was like, oh, I'm already this much through the book.
I just filmed the outro to another video, and now I'm doing this one because I finished, spoiler alert, The Charmless Cordelia Abe on my TBR drop piece, my book, and now I'm about to start Emily Henry, Funny Story, which I read some Emily Henry. I like it. I'm not like overwhelmed by her, but I don't dislike her. I'll put up the books that I read and the ratings on them. Her fiance has a best friend who's a female on his bachelor party. He ends up kind of cheating on her with his best friend and then decides like, oh yes, I'm in love with her. And so then they break up. What's the main character's name? Daphne ends up at Peter and Petra are the two best friends that Peter was engaged to Daphne. Peter left Daphne for Petra, and then Petra's dating a guy named Mike. Was that his name? Miles. I'll look at the name. I'm literally in the first chapter. Miles, and Daphne goes to live with Miles, who is Petra's ex-boyfriend. And they will on herself. So we'll go see what it is, and yeah, I'll keep you updated, and hopefully not look this crazy. Happy Easter if you celebrate. This will be out way after Easter, but whatever.
The kid chairs by the chair.
I am filming, sorry, I have a kid who's wanting some attention, and I'm going to film a really quick update to this because I did just get done filming my quarter one reading stats. Can I finish what I'm doing and then we'll go snuggle?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did finish Funny Story by Emily Henry. I did really like this. I think the characters were cute. Their chemistry kind of made sense. They kind of grew into a friendship. They kind of grew into something deeper. They both had strengths and weaknesses that played off each other, which made it make sense why they could fall in love. It just wasn't like you did it by chance. The way that they didn't overtly make their exes like terrible people, but just...
I'm looking for maggot. It can open like you have. Mom, I need to have the bag.
Oh, I don't have a bag anymore. Sorry, little interruption. But they did a really good job of showing through stories kind of what terrible people their exes were and how they were a little bit thoughtless in not such a direct way that they were not necessarily in a way that like they were overtly like super rude or did really mean stuff. But just to really subtle ways that maybe get missed, especially if you're in a relationship. So I think this was fun. There was some humor, some stuff like that. I'm not like a huge Emily Henry fan, but I do appreciate Emily Henry, and I did like this. So go check it out, and I'm going to go spend time with my babies. Bye. I almost forgot before I ended this that I am going to start the next one in 2025, Mask of Flies by Matthew Lyons. I now have another kid in here. So
Mom, you got some bugs right there.
Yes, it's got some bugs, horror, mystery, don't know what's going on. Really strange, but it is a pulse-pounding crime horror epic about a criminal on the run, the deadly family secrets she unearths along the way.
There's a bug right there.
This is a pulse-pounding crime horror epic about a criminal on the run, the deadly family secrets she unearthed along the way, and a sinister monster from her past that has got a taste for her blood and won't sleep until she's dead. I bought this from Thrift Books, and it came like the pages bent like this, and then when I opened them up, they clearly didn't get cut quite right, so that's kind of interesting. Anyways, yes, so this is going to be the next book that we read for 25 and 2025. Now I really am going to go hang out with some baby stuff. See you in a little bit. Bye.
I was playing with them in that sprint, and I was playing with Toby in that sprint as well. They wouldn't leave me alone. So over having to sit down and focus. I mean, I still took it.
I'm reading some really old reading sprints of Gavin Reads It All. And the kids are playing, and I'm just reading outside because it's gorgeous outside. But A Mask of Flies by Lyon. So we're in the first 5 chapters. The first chapter, we're learning about Anne and this mysterious night that her mom had her get out of bed. She's really little. They're going, and then her mom dies in a ravine because as they're fleeing from something, I know the lighting's not good. You're going to have to get over it. As they're fleeing from something, her mom dies, Anne lives. And then the first chapter, we fast forward, and she's part of a group that's doing bank robbery. The bank robbery goes bad. People end up dead. She's getting away, and it turns out somebody in the group has snitched, made a thing, but she is in a car. One of the other members of the group that got shot by the person that snitched, and then she's also kidnapped one of the cops. When she was trying to get away, she ran into 2 cops, and she kidnapped one of them, shot the other one in the knee, and then she's going to pharmacy, has another run with another cop, and then at that point she decides, yes, we need to find somewhere for safe to go. And there's a little bit of a hint that maybe the cabin in the beginning that her mom was pulling her away from, there's something to it, something creepy in the night. So we're getting a little bit of like a mysterious haunting vibes coming in. I have a feeling they're going back now to the cabin from the original story when her mom's taking her away, and there's going to be some kind of haunting. So it's getting spooky, it's getting eerie, it's fast paced, there's a lot of action going on. There's a lot of very descriptive, almost poetic type writing, which is not my favorite, but I'm still enjoying it. Yeah, good so far. Obviously, we're super early into it, but let's keep reading and I will update you as I get further. Finished The Mask of Flies by Lyon. This was fast-paced, bloody, gory. Great. So the way this ended was not what I was expecting. There definitely gets more of a supernatural element through it. What I really enjoyed about this book was the fact that there was almost 2 storylines going, but you don't necessarily know that this is storyline and this storyline. And I mean, you do, but there's facts being told, and it gets very muddy about which part affects which part, and does this based on this story. I just think that there's so many different elements to it that are done well, how it brings it all together. It feels very complete. I think this was a very well executed book. I think his writing was very descriptive, different than I normally like, but it worked for this story, and I really enjoyed it. The ending definitely was not what I was expecting, but I would highly recommend go check it out. Now we're going to pick our next 25 in 2025, which is also going to be a horror. We Just Live Here by Marcus Kliewer. Sorry, I am terrible at pronunciation. Anyways, this is another horror. Get Out meets Parasite. Never read their books, so those don't help us. But a young queer couple who flip houses, Charlie and Eve, can't believe the killer deal. They just got an old house in a picturesque neighborhood. They're working on renovations one day. There's a knock on the door, and a man stands there with his family, claiming to have lived here years before, and asking it would be all right if he shows his kids around. People pleaser to a fault, evil lets them in. Okay, so haunted house, I'm guessing, history of people, house flippers. I'm very intrigued by this. So yeah, I'm excited for this, and I will keep you updated as we read it. So I will see you shortly.
disclosure, I look awful. I'm exhausted. This day wins. I got nothing left. However, I did get a really great massage, which only made me more tired. That's fine. We've had a busy day. But I do have 40% of We Used to Live Here read. I've read this over the past couple of days. I'm really enjoying it. I am going through it pretty quickly. But so this is about a couple, Eve and Charlie, who they bought this house that needs a lot of work. And it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. The realtor says there's one way in and one way out. And Eve is very much a people pleaser. She wants to make everyone happy. She's also really quick to like go to the worst case scenario or assume that I'm going to turn the overhead light on because it's not on. That made absolutely no difference. Okay, whatever. Lighting sucks. Like I said, this day's winning over me. But anyways, Eve, people pleaser, always goes worst case scenario. Then her girlfriend Charlie is like not a people pleaser. We'll say it straight. She's also very rational. But Eve's there one day, Charlie's not. And a family shows up and the dad, Thomas, says, hey, I used to live here. Can I have 15 minutes to get my family a tour? Which is kind of weird. And she's like, no, yeah. And then she's like, okay, fine, whatever. So they do it. And the family's given a tour. It's going over 15 minutes. And then the daughter, Jenny, who I don't remember if they say the exact age, but she's definitely younger, hides in the basement. And Eve is terrified of the basement, again, because she goes quickly to the world is ending kind of scenarios. And then Charlie shows up, but Dan was like, hey, all we can do is wait for Jenny, the daughter, to come out. And the more we push, the longer it'll take. So they're just going to wait. However, in that time, a storm rolls through and now they're all stuck there. They can't leave. And so they're stuck there overnight and they're living there. And then weird things start happening. And one of the things Thomas asks Eve is like, did something weird happen? Have you seen weird things happening? She's like, wait, what? And then they finally have a conversation, and I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but they have a conversation kind of what came in about that. And it kind of is like, okay, is this man crazy? But like, it's in a way that Eve goes to irrational and Charlie's able to kind of like rationalize what it is. There's definitely some, like the wife is very religious, very kind of anti-queer, all that. So there is moments of like where there's kind of a clash between them of the fact that they're a queer couple and the mother doesn't. And then a lot of things where like Thomas, the dad, had these night terrors and they blame it on the demons. And then what was happening in his story, his parents blamed on this. So there's a little bit of that mixed in. So it's kind of like is the house haunted? Is there something wrong with people? Is there really a history going on? Is it all in their head? So it's getting that. But again, I'm enjoying it in the sense that there's definitely the spooky haunted house. I like the pacing. It's moving pretty quick. It's fairly easy to read. The characters like all clearly differentiated, so it's easy to kind of tell them apart. There's more than just a haunted house story going on. It's going good. I'm really enjoying it. And so I'm going to fly through this, I have a feeling. So I'm going to go cook dinner now and then maybe read a little bit and go to bed after the kiddos go. Because like I said, like 50 times in this, I'm so tired. This day is winning. And yeah, ready to start over tomorrow. So I will see you either when I have more of an update or when I finish this. Bye.
So we finished We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer. I loved this book and I want to read it over and over. I don't accept the ending. I literally finished the ending, went back and redid it. I was listening to it, trying to finish up some laundry because I was going back and forth between audio and library. And I was like, did I miss something? So I went back and I listened to it a couple of times just because I wasn't ready for it to end. This was fast paced. It was quick. And at no point was this lagging. Quite frequently, I was like, oh, I'm already this much through the book. So yeah, definitely a great book and I really enjoyed. So I think that's going to wrap up this version of 25 in 2025 part 3. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.